Hi guys, I love you so much. I'm out here in minus 40 degrees Celsius, which actually happens to be Fahrenheit. Fun fact, that's the only time they're exactly the same, because I want to talk about block heaters. Now most of us know block heaters as that cord that hangs out of the front of our vehicle and we have to plug it in on a cold day. Well, I want to relieve some of the mystery behind it, how to check to make sure it's working, and a little more about what it actually does. So a block heater, which is this awesome little picture right here, looks like a little tuning fork. And what it is and what it contains is actually a resistive wiring, which is exactly like your toaster. The current goes through, and because of the resistance, it ends up creating heat, which toasts your bread. So this is the same thing with your block heater. The water jacket is actually an area around your block that contains coolant. So what we're doing is actually warming the coolant, which I know sounds kind of counterproductive because, well, isn't coolant supposed to cool your engine? Well, it does, but it has to warm your engine first, and then it can cool it. Coolant in itself is going to be a whole other video. But for now, through convection and conduction, your coolant warms your block, but more importantly, it warms your oil. Oil is the lifeblood of your engine. Cold oil, much like us, doesn't want to move very well. So the faster we can warm it up, the faster we can get it to where it needs to be, which is really important because metal on metal is not a good thing. Starting an engine is the hardest thing that your engine will do. Working is no problem. It's getting it going that's the hard part. Irreparable damage can occur within seconds of starting your vehicle. So it's really important to have that oil nice and warm so that it can work properly where it needs to be. And of course, oil is also another subject we could delve into super deep, but we'll save that one for another day. So we've got our oil, we've got our coolant, our engine is warming up for us. Now let's go back to our plug. How do we know that our block heater is actually working properly? Now just a quick mention here, when you're looking at your block heater plug, you can tell that mine is fairly corroded, it needs a good cleaning. Having a cap on it is definitely helpful, but this can also affect performance when you're testing it or it working. Make sure you give it a good little check over, make sure there's no splits in anything as well. In the course of all this cold weather and trying to get a good reading for you on my block heater, it occurred to me that the reason it wasn't working is because my battery blanket is tied into it. So it's not giving me the answer that I want to show you. So instead we are inside on my kitchen floor because my water cooler happens to have the same configuration of plug as my block heater does. So I'll show you what it looks like to test for resistance and how to do it just on a different plug. It's not likely to give the exact same reading as a block heater would, but the whole point is just to show you how it works, and if you happen to have a multimeter handy, you can do it yourself. Quick little education on the multimeter. I do not expect you to go out and buy one just like mine. This cost me well over $200. My husband's exponentially more than that. If you're looking for one for your home, simply go down to your local hardware store or automotive parts supply, and they can provide you one at a reasonable price. Now, in future videos, we will be exploring more on electricity in the home, and it can definitely help you. In the end, if you do purchase one, just make sure that it can read resistance, which is the little omega sign, ohms, and voltage. Ultimately, a multimeter can actually save your life because it will tell you whether or not electricity is there. Let's just have a look at what resistance is, and we'll use our water cooler to see how it goes. Okay, so we're here on the floor pretending to, this is our pretend block heater plug. I've got my multimeter. This is super straightforward, really easy to do. I'm going to turn it to ohms, which is the little omega sign here. It says out of limits right now because, well, there's infinite resistance in air. All you have to do is touch it to the prongs, the flat ones, okay? We don't want to touch the ground. That won't give us what we want. So we are good contact, make sure it's nice and clean. Sometimes it happens if your plug is corroded, you won't get a really good reading. So make sure you give that a little quick wire brush. So we're reading 6.2 ohms on this particular unit. Typically for block heaters, you'll get between 8 and 30 ohms resistance. If it's anywhere outside of that or not reading properly, there could be some issues. So make sure you check with your technicians. And again, if you don't have something like this, it's as simple as asking your tech to check it out for you while your vehicle's in there for maintenance, or if you happen to have a friend with a multimeter, that can help you out too. Don't forget to turn it off so you don't kill the battery. Most modern vehicles have a switch in the block heater that turns it on and off when it's actually needed, which is really kind of neat, because if it's say -14 and you plug it in and your block heater doesn't actually activate till -15 or -18 degrees Celsius, it saves you some money and it saves energy, right? No harm in that. Also, if you have just run your vehicle and you've plugged it in because you're parked at home now or wherever you are, you plug your vehicle in, if your engine's still warm, it's not going to turn the block heater on, right? It's only going to use it when it needs it. Now let's talk about an additional helpful item that can help you start your vehicle a little bit easier in cold temperatures, and that is a battery blanket. That's this guy right here. It is exactly how it sounds. It wraps around your battery to keep it warm. Now the benefit of this is, as batteries get cold, they lose charge. It actually decreases their longevity, and you need a battery especially to start your vehicle. So if you have a hard time starting your vehicle, a battery blanket is actually not a bad investment to make. You plug it in just as you would plug in your block heater. A frozen battery is a garbage battery. One more quick pro tip: make sure that in the summer and in warmer weather, when you are not using your cord, that you tuck it away safely. Of course, depending on the make of your vehicle, where you can actually put it or strap it. Mine has a clip, and I can just tuck it in here in the bumper. Make sure it's out of the way of the fan blades so you're not wrecking the cord, or worse, ripping the block heater out of your block. Take care of the block heater and it will take care of you. And there you have it. Don't forget to plug those vehicles in, keep that engine warm, keep that battery toasty, and your vehicle will reward you with starting on those cold days. I hope you're staying warm out there, and we'll see you in the next video.